Welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be making this beautiful lovely micro scarf. So let's go ahead and get into the materials you need. For this tutorial you're going to need a 2.5 hook. You can even use a 2.0 hook if you want the scarf to be a bit skinnier. You're going to need a pair of scissors and a threading needle. For the yarn, I used fingering weight yarn. This is a local yarn from a yarn shop. You can also get fingering weight yarn from Joann's, Hobby Lobby, or Michael's. You are going to need a fingering weight yarn or lace yarn because if you use regular acrylic yarn, it will just be too thick and big to be a micro scarf. So yes, make sure it is fingering weight yarn, and let's get started. I am going to be making this tutorial in a acrylic weight yarn just so it is bigger. That way y'all can actually see what I'm doing, but just remember to use the yarn and hook I stated earlier. So we're going to start with a chain of 19. So here's my slip stitch and chain 19. Okay, so once you have your 19, we're going to chain an extra 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to count as our first double crochet and our skip 1 chain. By the way, this is not my pattern. This is a Pinterest inspired micro scarf that I saw on there, and the tutorial I tried to follow was just not too descriptive, so I wanted to make one for others that also want to make this scarf. That way you can understand the pattern more and you don't have to struggle as much as I did. Okay, so now we're going to go into the 7th chain and do a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 7th chain, and just do a double crochet. So to double crochet, yarn over, go into the chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook now. Yarn over, only pull through the first 2, then yarn over again and pull through the last 2. And that is a double crochet. So now we're going to chain 1, skip 1 chain. So go into the second one right here and do 1 double crochet. So again, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That is our second double crochet. Okay, so now we're going to do this 2 more times. So chain 1, skip 1 stitch, do a double crochet. So skip this one, go right here. Then repeat this one more time, chain 1, skip 1, and go into the second stitch. And now we're going to do 2 more double crochet, but no skipping or chaining one. So just do 1 regular double crochet into the next stitch, and then another regular double crochet right here. So don't chain. Here's our first double crochet, and then our second, and the next stitch. No chaining or skipping. So we have 3 double crochets right next to each other. And now we're going to chain 1 and repeat this pattern of the chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, all the way to the end. So you should do a total of 4 more double crochets, chain 1, skip 1. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, just what we were doing at the beginning, and just repeating this. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet. So we need 2 more double crochets. Okay, so I just did my last double crochet into the last chain. There you go. As you can see, we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. And that is the end of round 1. To start round 2, we're going to chain 4. This will count as your double crochet and skip 1 chain. Turn your work. We're going to do a double crochet on top of this double crochet from round 1. So yarn over and just do regular double crochet, and we're going into the top of it, so like this. Then chain 1, another double crochet on top of this double crochet. So this is how it should look so far. Then we're going to chain one and do one more double crochet on top of the next double crochet from round one. Okay, and now we're going to do a cluster of 3 together like we did here. So this was our first one. Now we're going to do just 1 double crochet, no chaining, into this space right here. So just go into it. You don't go into a stitch, you just go straight into the space. 1 double crochet. Then the third double crochet is going to go into the top of this double crochet. Okay, so 3 together. Now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and do another cluster of 3 double crochet. So we're going to do the first one on top of this double crochet. Basically, we're just mirroring what we did on this side. So yes, the first double crochet goes on top of this one. Second double crochet into this space right here. And our third double crochet on top of this double crochet from round 1. So we have another cluster. Then we're just going to chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 all the way down to the end on top of these 3 double crochets. So you should do 3 more. And I will show you how to do the last one into that chain since it is not a real double crochet. So chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and we're going to go into the third chain from the top. So you might have to pull this a little so it's easier to see. This is our first chain, this is our second chain, our third chain is right here where my finger is. So 1 single crochet into that. And there is row 2. For row 3, chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn your work. Do 1 double crochet on top of this first one from the previous row. Chain 1, and then we're doing another cluster. So we're going to do the clusters like in a little staircase effect. So it's going to go up diagonally. So our next cluster will go right here. That way it is diagonal, not straight on top. So our first double crochet is going to go on top of this double crochet. Second double crochet into this space. And our third double crochet on top of this double crochet. And there is our cluster, diagonal. And then we're just repeating whatever we do on this side on the other side. But first we need to do this middle flower part. So chain 3 and do 1 single crochet into this long chain from round 2. Now we're repeating. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We did our cluster. So now we need to do our cluster on this side. The first double crochet will go on top of this double crochet. Our second will go into this space right here. And our third will go on top of this crochet, this double crochet. And then we did 2 double crochets where we chain 1 in between. So chain 1, do 1 double crochet, chain 1, and do 1 more double crochet into this chain. Again, going into the third chain. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3 right here. And there is row 3. You can see the flower starting to form right here. Row 4, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn your work. So our next cluster has to go right here. So the first double crochet will go on top of this one. 1, second will go into this space, and the third one will go on top of this double crochet. So there it is. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and do 3 single crochet into this. So we're going to do one single crochet into the space, one single crochet into this single crochet from row 3, and then our third single crochet into this space. So here's one single crochet, your second will go right in this single crochet, our last one will go into this space. And again, just repeating everything we did on this side. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's do our cluster. The first one will go on top of this double crochet. 1, second into the space, 2, and a third one on top of this double crochet. 3. Then chain 1 and 1 double crochet into this chain. So 1, 2, this is the third chain space. Okay, for row 5 we're only going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And this is going to count as our first double crochet of our cluster, because now our third cluster has to be right here. So this counts as the first one. We're going to do the second double crochet into this space and the third double crochet on top of this double crochet. So there you go, our little cluster. Now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 5 single crochet. So 1 will go into this space. We made 3 single crochet here in row 4. So we will do our first single crochet right here, second single crochet here, third single crochet right here, or that's the fourth because we did our first one here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and our fifth single crochet into this other space. So let's do our first one into the space, these next 3 into the 3 single crochet from before. It's 3, 4, our last single crochet into this space. Again, repeating what we just did on this side. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then doing another cluster. First one goes on top of this double crochet. Second goes into this space of our chain, and then the third one goes actually into our chain. So right here. And that is row 5. This is what it should be looking like. Of course, yours will be smaller with the fingering weight yarn. Row 6, chain 4 and turn your work. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to do all our little staircases back the other way because we already reached the end. So now we're going back inside. So our next cluster will be right here next to this one, and then our one after that will go over here, and we're just meeting back in the middle. So our first double crochet will go on top of this double crochet. Our second and third double crochet will go into this little space. Don't go into the actual chain, just go into the space. And there is our cluster going back inside. Now we're going to chain 3 and do 3 single crochet. So we have 5 here. We're just going to do the 3 single crochet into the middle 3. So that would be 1, 2, 3. So let's do our first one. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and 3. So now again, just repeating what we did on the other side. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Our cluster, the first 2 double crochets go into this chain space. 1, 2. The last double crochet goes on top of this double crochet. Then chain 1 and do a double crochet into our chain. Okay, so here we are after row 6. Row 7, chain 4, turn your work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Row 7, we're going to do 1 double crochet on top of this double crochet from round 6. Then we're going to chain 1, do our cluster. The first one will go on top of this double crochet, then our last 2 will go into this chain space. So here's our first one, then our second and third. Now we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just do 1 single crochet. So we did 3 in the last row. Our 1 is going to go into the middle single crochet. So right here. And now we're just repeating the same thing on the other side. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do our cluster. 2 go in here. The third one goes on top of that double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, do 1 double crochet on top of this double crochet. Then chain 1 and do our last double crochet into our chain. So here's what it should look like after row 7. Row 8, chain 4, turn your work. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 1 double crochet on top of this double crochet, chain 1, do another double crochet on top of this one, chain 1, then we're going to do our cluster. So 1 on top of this double crochet and the last 2 in this chain space. 1, 2, 3. Then we're just going to chain 1 and then repeat all this again. So our cluster, 2 in here, 1 in this double crochet. 1, 2, last one goes right here. Chain 1, do 1 double crochet on top of this double crochet. Chain 1, do another double crochet on top of this one. Chain 1 and do our last double crochet into this chain. So here we are after row 8. We are almost done. We have just finished our little flower. Our row 9 is the last row of this little square. So chain 4 and turn your work. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do our first double crochet right here on top of this one. Chain 1, do our second double crochet right here. Chain 1 and do 1 more double crochet on top of this double crochet. Chain 1, then we're going to do our last cluster right here. So the first double crochet will go on top of this one, second will go into this space, and our third double crochet will go on top of that double crochet. So here's our first double crochet, our second double crochet, and the last double crochet. Again, repeating everything. Chain 1, you're just going to chain 1 and double crochet all the way down for the rest of this row. So the first one goes on top of that double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet on top of this double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet on top of this one. Chain 1, and your last double crochet goes into your chain. Okay, that is the entire diagram that we just did right now. If you were using that, after doing this several times, you can start to just read the graph. You sort of get used to it. All the little circles stand for chains. The little lines that look like a T are double crochet. And then these shorter, like lowercase t's, are single crochet. So now to repeat this, You don't have to cut off and start all over again. You can just start over from row 2 over and over again. So you do rows 2 to 9. Then once you finish that, again, rows 2 to 9, 2 to 9 over and over again. So to make the second square, you would chain 4, turn your work, and like I said, just start from row 2, which was doing double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, cluster, or chain 4, and in a cluster, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And you're just repeating this all over again until you get as many squares as you want. I did 21 squares. That was with the 2.5 hook. So if you're using a 2.0 hook, yours will come out a bit shorter than mine. So just keep that in mind. And by the end, you should have a beautiful, lovely micro scarf. Eee, so cute, so cute. And yeah, look at the size difference if you use acrylic yarn. Please use fingering weight so it's actually a micro scarf. And again, don't forget, you can slow down this video, press pause, rewind if I'm going a bit too fast for you. Please tag me in your creations on Instagram. I would really love to see this in white. That is what I wanted to do, but I didn't have white yarn. Thank you again for watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye!